Good day, everyone. I hope everyone is doing great. Thank you so much for joining us for this session. We are so excited to have you all for this session. We are very excited to have Pauline with us today to share her experiences on how we can develop that pitch we want to and raise that funding for that awesome business idea that we have. So we're going to go ahead and start today. First of all, with her bio, let us know who our speaker is. So Pauline Nalumansi was born and raised in Uganda, and she came to the US in 2014 to pursue her studies at Arizona State University. She graduated from the WP Carey School of Business in 2018 with a bachelor's in accounting. She recently graduated from the Thunderbird School of Global Management with a master's in global affairs and management. She was a recipient of two prestigious scholarships, the MasterCard Foundation Scholars Program and the Thunderbird Shared Fellowship and a Resolution Project Fellow. She has won several awards, including the Resolution Project Social Venture winner in 2017, ASU Student Shine Most Engaged Student 2018, Changemaker Challenge winner 2018, Thunderbird Pitch Competition, second runner up 2019, POC Outstanding Graduate Student Leader 2020, and the Venture Devils Demo Day winner twice. Pauline has served as a project manager for US Global Compact USA Networks STG program and assistant for Thunderbird for Good. At ASU Career and Professional Development Services, she served as a business operations assistant and global initiative PM. She volunteered as a global consultant for HEFA International Ecuador and worked as a finance manager for Hope Alive Uganda. Pauline is a social entrepreneur. Pauline is a social entrepreneur who founded the Pauline Foundation, a nonprofit that provides practical education to break the poverty cycle among the youth and women in Uganda. Pauline has served on boards for two nonprofits in Arizona, Friends of Africa and Feed Our Nations. She took on several leadership roles, and one she is most proud of is Thunderpreneurs, a student-led entrepreneurship club She co-founded that is one of the fastest-growing clubs at Thunderbird and ASU student ambassador. As a visionary thinker, Pauline loves being part of a team that works on innovative ideas that transform the communities they serve. Currently, Pauline serves as a University Innovation Fellow in the Office of Applied Innovation, a special unit office in the Office of the President of Arizona State University. Her role as a fellow is to generate and advance entrepreneurial ideas that can transform higher education institutions and the communities ASU serves. Pauline is one of the current alumni in residence fellows, and her mission is to inspire and encourage MCF scholars to develop an entrepreneurial mindset by sharing knowledge and providing experience by providing by sharing knowledge and providing guidance in turning your ideas, passion, talent, or technical skills into business opportunities or give back projects that will positively impact our communities. Looking at her very impressive profile, you see that Pauline is just the right person for this job, and we are so excited to have her joining us for this session. So I'll go ahead to hand over to her to present what she has for us. Pauline, you have the floor. Thank you.
Um, Thank you so much, Mukhtar, for that wonderful introduction. I was listening to the bio. I'm like, where did they get all that time to do all that stuff? So I want to take this moment to thank MasterCard Foundation Scholar for giving me the opportunity to achieve my dream of education as a young girl, as you heard, from Uganda. And I want to thank the Baobab platform for giving me this opportunity, and the Alumni in Residence Fellowship for giving me this chance to share my pitching experience and motivate others to engage into entrepreneurship. As you've heard, I want to welcome everybody. I am so excited to meet all of you, share my experience, interact with you, and welcome to today's event, which is developing a winning pitch. I'll go ahead and share my PowerPoint slides and let's dive into this. Okay, so as I said, today's event is about developing a winning pitch. Pitching is a very important skill every entrepreneur should have. As an entrepreneur, it's very, very important to have your idea or your business or your company on top of your mind all the time, because you never know when a funding or investment opportunity will show up. I'll give you an example. So one day I went to attend a business summit, ASU Changemaker Business Summit. And so at the end of the day, after the workshops, the MC called for anybody in the audience who had an idea or a business that they wanted to pitch for a chance to win $300. Immediately, I jumped out of my chair, went on stage and talked about my idea and talked about my foundation, Pauline Foundation. I pitched within 2 minutes and everybody in the audience liked my idea and I won the $300 just like that. No PowerPoints, no notes, but because I knew exactly my idea, what my business does, I was able to win funding. And so in today's presentation, I will help walk you through all the tips and tricks of developing a winning pitch. Mukta already introduced me, and so I won't go in details about me, but one thing I really want you to know is that 3 years ago, I want to encourage you, everybody, to mute yourself as you're coming in so that we have a smooth flow. 3 years ago, I didn't have any pitching experience. And as many of you, I am sure, when you hear about pitching your idea, it is so scary. And I agree, I used to be scared as well. But the more you participate or give yourself a chance to participate in pitch competitions, it becomes second nature to you. You build confidence and you can literally do it anytime, any minute. I have participated in over 7 pitch competitions, winning over $20,000 in funding. So if I can do it, you can all do it. So in today's agenda, in today's event and workshop, we are going to talk about developing a winning pitch. And in the agenda, I am going to talk about, to present to you, what are those key components or key parts that you must include in your PowerPoint presentation or in your pitch deck. And then along the way, I'll be sharing the effective pitch deck tips, like what to do and how to better present yourself. In your slide deck, we are going to talk about the problem statement, the solution statement, the target market and competition, the business model, and the financial model, and the team. And as I said, I'll be providing tips on how to effectively present your idea, what to do before, what to do after, during the presentation, and what to do after the presentation. Again, if you have questions or a question pops up in your mind as I present, feel free to write it down in the chat and we'll be able to answer all your questions. I hope you're all excited. Let's dive into this. As I said, when you're preparing your PowerPoint presentation slides or your pitch deck slide, make sure to have a cover slide. And so this cover slide is to give the investors or the audience or the judges what your company is all about up front. So you want to, it gives a summary of what your organization does or what your idea is all about. And so what you can include on this cover letter slide could be a company logo if you have one, a startup name, and I would encourage you to always have a startup name, which is okay. Sometimes you can change it along the way, but always have a startup name. And if you don't have the logo or the startup name, have a question or an image that could give a hint of what your idea or your business is all about. And you can also have a vision and mission. So this cover slide deck, you could break it down into 2. If you have the company logo and name, that could be your cover slide, and then the next slide could talk about your vision and mission. I am going to share with you how I develop mine or how mine looks like. So every time I'm preparing my PowerPoint presentation for pitch competition, I always have the first slide with my logo and the name of the company, Pauline Foundation Unbreakable Resilience. And that's what I display on my PowerPoint as I wait for judges to give me a go ahead to start. And that helps people stay hooked and curious to know what is this organization all about. And then in the second slide, I normally spend about 30 seconds talking about the vision and mission. What are we doing? What do we envision for this organization? And what's our mission? And so if you're a Baobab scholar and you're here, I have been blogging about how to develop a vision and a mission. Please make sure you go and read those blogs to get an idea and tips on how to develop a vision and mission. Now that you have the cover slide, then you talk about the problem. The problem is the attention grabber. You want to grab the attention of the audience. And so in your problem, you want to talk about what is the problem your company is solving. And sometimes it doesn't have to be a problem. It could be an opportunity. You identify an opportunity in your community, in your school, in your area, and you want to take advantage of that opportunity. So explain what is that opportunity and explain why you need to solve this problem. If it's a problem, why do we need to solve it? Why do we have to do it now? If it's an opportunity, why is it the right time to take advantage of this opportunity? So you want to explain all that through your problem statement. And some of the tips on how to do that is to share from your heart. Tell a story of this problem. It could be you who has experienced the problem, or could be somebody else that has experienced the problem. So you want to bring that story to the audience so people can connect emotionally with this problem statement. You can also use statistics, figures to back up, to explain why this problem needs urgent attention. Fall in love with the problem, not the product. So many times we get excited about our ideas, our products, and forget to fall in love with the problem, which really is what the investors are looking into investing. Also, make sure you're clear and concise. And again, I'm going to share my experience, how I present my problem. So I always have a slide that talks about the problem. What is the problem? The problem is the extreme vulnerability of Ugandan youth. Why are Ugandan youth vulnerable? Because 78% of Ugandans are below the age of 35. And these Ugandan young people are desperate for education, but unfortunately, education in Uganda is weak, expensive, with limited access. Only the rich people can have access to education. And because of that, a lot of young people are now unemployed. And so the number of youth unemployment has increased to 64%. And because young people are not employed, it has resulted in increase in crime rate, HIV rate, and street kids. So do you see how I am backing up this problem with statistics? I hope you're getting the picture. I did not stop there. I go ahead and I share my story because I have been one of these young people that have been affected with this problem. I am a young girl below the age of 35. So that means I am among the 78% of Ugandan young people in Uganda. I struggled to go to school. I didn't have an opportunity until when MasterCard gave me the opportunity to achieve my education dream. My family could not afford education. And I was unemployed. By the time I got my MasterCard scholarship, I was a food vendor. I was selling food on the roadside to support myself. My young brother faced crime. He was a street kid. My dad passed out of HIV. So do you see how my story connects with the problem and how it connects with the statistics? So that's how you want to develop or explain your problem. And so that helps the audience really love what you're doing. And again, if you have a question, feel free to share in the chat. Now that you've talked about the problem, what is your solution? So that now that you have presented your problem in a relatable and compelling fashion, and probably some people are now even emotional, in one sentence, in a very short sentence, you want to boil down exactly what your company or your organization or your idea is doing, and you want to show that of the value that you're bringing to this community or this country or this particular market that you're trying to take advantage of. And so in your solution statement, you want to talk about how your idea, how your company, how your organization is solving this problem or is utilizing this opportunity. If you have a product or a service, what is it? How does it look like? And what value is it bringing? Or what value does it have compared to those that already exist? And so the tip here, as you explain your solution, it's very, very important to show rather than tell. Most people spend a lot of time telling the solution and forget to show. So I want to encourage you, if you have an image of your product or a video or a graph, use that to demonstrate how what your solution is and how it works. You are the expert. Demonstrate your solutions. People love to see. We are visual people. We want to see rather than hear. There's a golden rule in the market. Features tell, benefits sell. So if you show people what your product is, what your service is, and then when they buy it and the benefits are really good, they'll keep buying. Or if they donate and they see impact and the benefits are creating a change, they'll keep donating. And so I'll show you how I normally demonstrate my solution in the next slide. So I normally have a slide that shows exactly what the solution looks like and how it works. So Pauline Foundation, our solution is targeting young people. And we are solving the problem of youth vulnerability and unemployment through providing education opportunities, through skills training, through mentorship and talent development. So that's our solution. We have had impact because we've been operating for the last 3 years, and this is what we have. So I normally have a slide that explains the impact of each of the programs that we have. For example, we provide education, and we have so far awarded 15 scholarships to 15 girls who are going to medical school. We pay about $5,000 per semester. In our skills training program, we have about 25 girls enrolled in our programs. We have hired 4 single moms as trainers to train these girls. Through the mentorship program, we have Saturdays, Spark Saturday programs. Every weekend we meet and share stories, problems, and encourage one another. But we also go out in the community to share our programs. So do you see how I'm showing the impact of our solution? Sometimes you don't have the impact already, you just have an idea. If you have a video, you can show how that solution works, or you can explain in simple graphics, just like I have on this slide on the left. And if you have products, you can demonstrate, you can show those. So this is how I normally have a slide that shows the products that we have from the skills training program. And sometimes when I go to present, I go with a product, like for example, in my head, I have one of the products that we use. So I show them that this is how the product works. So you see how the different ways you can present your solution or demonstrate your solution to help the judges understand what you're doing. I hope this is helpful. And now we talked about the problem and the solution. Now let's dive into the target market. And so The market is one important piece that you should have in your presentation, showing the traction or the existence of the market is good, but judges want to know how big is your market. And so you want to explain who exactly are your customers or who exactly are you targeting? How big is that size? Talk about the competitors. Do you know them? Are they direct or indirect competitors? And if you have products or services, how unique are they? How different are they compared to your competitors? And so here you want to focus on one or two constituencies or areas. I have seen people say, I want to solve this problem in Ghana. You can't solve the entire problem in Ghana. You want to say, I want to solve this problem in Accra or in this area. You want to be specific. What is your target audience? Demonstrate that you have done research by using statistics, or you can even tell stories of people, or you can even provide some customer feedback. And so the next slide, I'll show you how to demonstrate this. There's this formula that I normally use that is very important when you're explaining your target market. It's called the term sum, term same sum. So term is the total available market. For example, in my case, Pauline Foundation, 70% of Ugandan people are below the age of 35. So that's the total available market of being affected by this problem. The serviceable market is that 60% of these young people are unemployed. So that is the serviceable market that Pauline Foundation wants to help. But because we are operating in Namgongo and Bushenyi, so we are targeting at least 15% of this population. So you see how I'm breaking it down, the serviceable obtainable market. For those who have for-profit organization, I will use the example of A and B. A and B did research and found that 1.9 billion people book trips to travel over the world. But only 532 million people cannot afford to pay for an expensive hotel to stay. So they decided that at least 10.6 million people would be their target market that would be willing to pay for a small room in somebody's office, somebody's home, or a small house somewhere. So that is their target market. You see how you're breaking it down for the judges or the investors and showing them that there is market for your product or your idea. And how do you compare yourself to your competitors? It's okay to list the number of competitors that you know and the services they are providing or the products or the solution, and show how unique yours is. You can show that you're providing all this and they're not providing this. So you want to show that competitive advantage. The business model. For Baobab scholars who are here, a few weeks ago, I wrote about how to use the business model. So the business model explains your company, what your company is, what value it creates. It explains the processes of acquiring customers, what are the key activities, what's the value proposition, what are the channels. Like, I would really encourage all of you to develop a business model canvas, not just for the pitch competition, but also for your organization, because then it helps you to think through every process of developing a business and know exactly what to do. So please take time to develop a business model. If you're a scholar, go and read my blog about this. It will give you the steps and tricks of how to develop one. The financial budget is a very, very important component of your pitch. I have seen people present their ideas, but never talk about their budget. You want to show the investors how much are you pricing your product, what's the break-even point, how many customers or how many students or how many people you're helping that will help you reach that impact that you're envisioning. So for those who are running non-profit businesses like mine, I normally have a slide that shows the budget for the entire year. I show every budget should have an income and also expense budget. Show how much money you need to spend and how are you spending it. And then also show them where do you expect this money to come from. For example, I have the expense budget. We need this money for education, scholarships, for skills training, for mentorship, for talent development, for production, everything. And then on the other side, I have that we hope to raise this money by selling products, by getting donations and gifts. So you're showing that budget. And make sure you always have a budget on your slides to show the judges, the investors that, again, you've done your research, you know what you're doing. And now that you have showed your budget and gave them a picture of how much you need to run your business or your idea or your organization, ask. So many people always forget to ask. And when you ask, be clear. Feel free to ask for as much as you want. When we go back to this, my budget is $50,000. When I was pitching to this specific pitch competition, they were only giving up to $5,000, but I showed them that I need $50,000. So remember to ask for funds, but not just asking. Show how you're going to use it and the impact it's going to have on your business or the community that you're asking. And again, this is my slide where I asked the investors that I needed $12,000. And when you give me this money, I am going to pay for rent. I'm going to buy sewing machines. I am going to buy tailoring materials, and we need some money for overheads. That's why I need $12,000. And when you give me this money, we are going to be able to produce at least 20 to 30 pieces of products every day. And when we produce those products, we are going to sell them at this amount. And this is how much we are going to raise. So are you seeing how I am asking and showing how I'm going to use it and the impact it's going to have on my organization, but also on the community? So you want to demonstrate how the money you're asking for is going to help multiply itself into something that is more sustainable, so you don't have to come back to ask for funding. Now that you have asked, just don't stop there. Show them the impact. Show them where you are. For example, if it's just an idea, you could tell them, when you give me this money, it will help me start. It will help me register. Or for example, in my example, I show that when you give me $12,000, it helps my team and I create a production unit. And when we create a production unit, we will raise money over $150,000 to create a factory. And when we create a factory, we will be able to double the amount of young people that we support by 2025. So you show that their investment, their funding, their grant is going to help you grow from one stage to the another and scale up. So again, ask, show, and explain how this is going to help you grow. And now, don't forget to talk about the team. Why? Because people invest in teams. Judges invest in teams. It's very important to talk about who is on your team, then what are their names, what are their position, what are the skills do they have, what experience do they have, what are some of the accomplishments have they had, And if you have a team of board of directors or judges or advisors, you also want to show the audience or the investors or the judges that we don't only have a team, but we also have people who are advising us and helping us grow. So you want to show that as well. And because sometimes your idea might fail, but if you have a good team, you can always come up with a new solution. That's why I'm saying that people invest in people. They could think that your idea doesn't work, but because you have a strong team, they will go ahead and give you the money you need or the support you need because they believe in your team. So always have a team, a slide for your team members. So these are like the general tips, what to do before you go on stage to present and what to do during and after. So before you go, make sure that your slides are clean. Have clean slides with images. Have less words and more images. And make sure your slides are readable. And then after, prepare. I don't know how to emphasize this. Pitch before yourself, pitch before your family, record yourself and prepare so you become comfortable when preparing for your pitch. Also take time to understand your audience. Are you presenting to MasterCard Baobab Summit, the Resolution Venture Challenge? Are you presenting to a team of students? Like, who are those people you're presenting? Take time to understand your audience so you're already mentally engaged and connected to them. Also think about the questions that they might ask. When you think about those questions, try to come up with answers ahead of time so you're very well prepared. And now you're about to step on stage and present your idea. It's very okay to be nervous. It's very, very okay to be nervous. In fact, if you're not nervous, then maybe you don't have emotions, but take a deep breath, take a Superman pause, go on stage. And once you are on that stage, pay attention to your body language. Some presenters are shaking and scared, the words are not coming up well, or sometimes you're too confident and you're pocketing, or like pay attention to your body language. And also look out for people in the audience who are smiling and nodding, and pay your focus. Look at those ones, because when they nod and smile, they give you confidence to keep presenting. One key thing that I want all of you to know when you're presenting, listen to the questions. And I don't know how to emphasize this, but listen. So many times when judges are asking a question, we are quick to answer before they finish the question. Listen, and it's very okay to ask for a second or 5 seconds to think through your answer. You can tell them, please give me 5 seconds to think through this. Think and then talk, give your answer. Then after your presentation, I normally do this. I follow up. Whether I have won funding, whether I have not won, whether I am not sure if I'm winning, immediately after the presentation, I go to the judges or to the audience and ask, how was my presentation? What feedback do you give me that I can use to improve my idea or my presentation? Feel free to talk to people about your idea and get feedback. Also, remember to send a thank you note to the judges. Whether you win the money or not is very important, because you never know, you might meet them again at some other point. So those are the general tips. So we are going to share this slide deck if you need it. And so I added some resources that can help you. Business model, a 5 minutes pitch presentation, and also have access to my personal slide deck. And again, quickly, I am just going to show you how my presentation PowerPoint looks like. Just a minute. So this is how my PowerPoint slide deck, my PowerPoint presentation looks like when I'm going to prepare. As I said, as we recap, my first slide is always about Pauline Foundation, what we are as an organization. Then I also explain the vision and mission in 30 seconds, and then spend a minute explaining the problem. I give statistics, but back it up with my story. And then spend another minute showing them the solution, what exactly we do, and then explain to them what is the impact. And also, I normally show them our funding model. Like, we raise money through donations, but we also raise money through sales. Our solution is sustainable. We don't only depend on donations, but we also raise money through sales, and that helps us continue operating. And then also I demonstrate some of the products that we sell, how much we sell them, where we sell them, and how we develop that income. And as I said, I have a slide about the budget, how much we need on a annual basis. And then I always ask what I want and show them how I'm going to use it and how it's going to change or impact my organization. I also take time to show them where I am now as an organization. This is where we are, this is where we want to be, and this is where we want to be in the long run, like the long-term goal. Of course, always have a team and always have a slide that says thank you. And because I always want to share my slides, I share my links to the social media for them to go and look and learn more about my organization. So that's a recap of how your PowerPoint should look like, or an example of how your PowerPoint can look like. And so if you have any questions, please feel free to write those in the chat. So the target market, I don't know what organization you're looking at or your idea, but if it's for profit, you want to show them the customers that you're targeting. Are you targeting young people who are interested in basketball, for example, or young people who are interested in soccer, for example? Are you interested, you want to be exactly clear, what are your customers? Are they women? Are they young mothers? Are they mothers? Are they, like, you specifically talk about the category of people that would be interested in your idea or would buy your product. And then go ahead and show the size of it. So you could say, like, for example, in Uganda, we have 5 million young boys who are interested in soccer. So I am making this product, this shoe or this t-shirt for these 5 million people. So you want to show the size, how big the size is. And then, do you have competitors? Like, who are those competitors? You want to either mention a company or an organization. And if you don't know, there are some of those who are not very direct competitors, maybe vendors who are selling t-shirts, for example. So you want to show those competitors. Now that you know the customers, you know the size of the customers, and you are very aware of your competitors, show them how different your idea or your product is unique compared to them. What are they doing what are they doing wrong that you're doing right? Or what are they not doing that you're doing that makes you unique compared to them? I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much, Pauline. So we'll take our next question. So our next question is from Nuria. Just to say quickly, Pauline, a lot of people are thanking you for this beautiful presentation. So she says, thank you for sharing this information and expertise with us. She wants to know if you change your pitch deck according to the grant you are applying to. For example, some require video presentation and others only send the deck. So she wants to know, do you change your deck depending on what kind of pitch you're applying for example?
That's a very, very, very great question. And as I said, when you're preparing your slide deck or your pitch presentation, study the kind of audience, take time to study the instructions and the type of businesses they are looking for. So as you saw, in my solution for Pauline Foundation, we have education scholarships, then we have skills training, then we have mentorship. So when I am considering to participate in a pitch competition, I think and say, what would be the best program to pitch to this kind of slide deck, when I know that these judges are willing to sponsor or to donate or to give to a scholarship program, then I concentrate on explaining the scholarship. Or if I know that this program, for example, MasterCard Resolution Venture, they're interested in agriculture or maybe in ideas that would help impact young people practically with practical skills, then I present the skills training. So you keep changing your slide deck a little bit to fit the audience that you're pitching to. And if it requires a slide deck, send a slide deck. If it requires a video, record yourself talking about your idea, but making sure in your video, you explain the problem, the solution, the market, and ask for money, ask for what you want, and show how you're going to use it and how it's going to help you grow or scale up your idea. Yeah, so you keep changing your pitch deck depending on the audience that you're presenting to.
Yeah, thank you so much, Pauline. So I guess the takeaway is definitely know your audience, know the people you are trying to reach out to, and tune in your slides to meet with what they want. Right. Our next question, he says, how can someone demonstrate he has done research, including figures about his pitch, right? Right. So how do you demonstrate if you have done research? So
you can demonstrate by, first of all, giving a reason. Why did you do this research? What were you trying to look for? One of the blogs I wrote a few weeks ago was that I went out to the community because I wanted to understand the problem. I had the idea that I wanted to help young people, but I didn't know the problem. So I went in the community and did research. So that explains, this is the reason why I did this research. And so after explaining what you were looking for, then you show how did you do it? And then you go and say, I talked to people, I interviewed people, I sent out a survey, and this is what I got. So you want to show the methods you used to do that research. And then after talk about what were the results, I found out that X amount of people are young people, X amount of people are women and men. And I also found out that X amount of people are unemployed. So you want to show what you found out. And now use that to show them the analysis process. How did you go about analyzing the information you collected and coming up with this idea? And now that you have the idea, what do you want to do? What do you want to use this information for? And after showing them, you anticipate the impact. What do you expect to come out of your solution? So again, give the reason why you did the research, how you did it, what results you got from it, how you analyzed it, and how you want to use that information to create impact.
Thank you. Thank you for that brilliant answer. Our next question. Hi, Pauline, with the project, how do I go about if my business is still in their stage?
So I remember the first time I pitched and I got funding, it was just an idea. My first time pitching, I had not even done research very well, but I just went and pitched. So when you have just an idea, I would really encourage you to speak more about the problem. That's when you remember when I said, fall in love with the problem, share the story, be passionate about it, and use a little bit of statistics that you found out on internet or a few people that you've talked to. And so when you explain that story in an emotional, from the heart, tell them the solution, like how you want to do it. And so you could just use a graph and be like, this is how I want to solve this problem. And after showing how you're going to solve it, And so you can say, this is the impact I expect. I haven't started, but I think this solution works. And so you can even say, there are other people that I know that are addressing the same problem, but I think this is what is missing in their solutions. And this is how my solution is unique from theirs. And so if you give me money or funding, I assure you that my solution works. And so that's how you demonstrate. You could even say, I have talked to a few people about this solution and they have given me good feedback. So I think my solution will, if you don't have traction already.
Awesome. Thank you, Pauline. So the takeaway is that focus more on your problem and try to show what your projected impact is going to look like. Our next question is, in a for-profit business idea, what happens if the grant is less than your projected cost? Must you scale down your projections to meet the grant, even if that would be hard on the business?
Yes, take whatever they give you. As I showed you, my budget, I needed $50,000 the time when I presented. So I needed $50,000 in order to reach my goal or for our organization to scale. But I was only given $5,000. So I took it and made changes and focused on the key areas of my business that I think would help multiply that income or that donation to reach my budget. So if you need a certain amount of money and you're given little compared to what you wanted, take it, think through your budget, try to look out for the key areas that are very important for this business to grow and concentrate on that. And so once you concentrate on that, go back and look for more funding or use that funding to multiply to be able to get more income to take care of the other parts of the business. So for example, if you run a tech company and you develop apps, and so you need $10,000 to develop this app, but you only get $2,000. So maybe you can use that $2,000 to buy a software. And now that you have a software, you could start selling that software that could help you raise money to maybe buy the like practical materials. I don't know what is needed to develop an app, but you see how you can capitalize on that little amount to at least have grow from one stage to another. I hope that's helpful.
Awesome. Thank you for all of these brilliant questions. You can take this question as well. She says, would you recommend asking for mentorship in addition to money?
Sure. Very, very important. You could say, in as much as I want funding for this program, but I'm also looking for an advising team, a mentor to kind of help me grow this business. So if anybody's in this audience and you have skills, you want to be specific, what kind of mentorship are you looking for? So if anybody is in this audience and you have expertise or experience in digital branding or branding and communication or project management or accounting, finance management, I really need your help to be able to give me mentorship advice on how I can manage finances, or I can brand my organization, or I can, digitally brand myself on social media. Ask for mentorship. And so that is when an added advantage, because then it sends a signal that you really, really care about your organization and you're desperate to grow.
Awesome. Okay, I think Pauline, you can go ahead and let us know what you have planned for us moving forward.
So for the next event, we have not set the date yet, but maybe around May, we will have an event whereby we give you the opportunity to practice your pitch and get feedback. Now that you know how to develop the pitch deck, you can go use the slides, use the blogs, or even reach out to me and I will give support, develop your pitch very well. And then the next event, you have 3 minutes to pitch your idea, and then we will give you feedback however much. And we will make sure that the feedback we give you helps you prepare for any pitch competition that you may want to participate in. So that will be our next event.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pauline, for your brilliant presentation. For those people who are scholars, Joanne has helped us to post several of her posts in the chat. So please go ahead and engage with her chat on Baobab. For those people who are willing to join the platform, Joanne as well has shared the link. You're all welcome to join the platform. Continue to we can definitely continue these conversations on Baobab. We appreciate everyone for coming. It's been an extremely inspiring and very educative session for me. And I hope that many of us are going to take many of the things she has said, develop our pitch, and then we're going to see all of you all in our next event. Please stay tuned and we'll be sending out more details as we finalize them. Thank you so much, everyone.